Hey guys, our trainer Mr. Yash Sharma will be training you how to build machine learning model that could predict the profit of a startup company. There are several skills that you can acquire upon learning this tutorial. By the end of this video, your model will be able to predict the profit.
Now guys, we are going to understand the concept of multiple linear regression. In the previous topic, we have learned about simple linear regression where a single independent or predictor variable is used to model the response variable y. But there may be various cases in which the response variable is affected by more than one predictor variable. For such cases, the multiple linear regression algorithm is used. So as of now, you can see that we are just dealing with a single independent variable and we have only one dependent variable. But what if you are dealing with a data set that comprises of multiple independent variable and you need to make predictions on the basis of those multiple independent variable? At that point of time, guys, we are going to use this multiple linear regression. Multiple linear regression is an extension of simple linear regression as it takes more than one predictor variable to predict the response variable. And we can define multiple linear regression as one of the most important regression algorithm which models the linear relationship between a single dependent continuous variable and more than one independent variable. Multiple regression is just like a linear regression but with more than one independent variable, meaning that we try to predict a value based on two or more variables. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Let's say you are going to predict the carbon dioxide based on engine size and the number of cylinders in a car. Okay, so here you can see that this is our one single dependent variable, but this dependent variable can be predicted by using one or more independent variables. So we have engine size and we have number of cylinders. Now you need to consider both to make prediction. Some key points about multiple linear regression. For multiple linear regression, the dependent or target variable must be the continuous or real. But the predictor or independent variable may be of continuous or categorical form, which means that in multiple linear regression, all of your independent variables should be in numerical features. Okay, however, your independent variable can be continuous or it can be a categorical. But here you can see, guys, that your target variable, which means the variable which you are going to predict, must be continuous or real. But the predictor or independent variable may be of continuous or it can be in a categorical form. Each feature variable must model the linear relationship with the dependent variable. So these are some key points which you need to keep in your mind while working with this multiple linear regression. So guys, this is going to be an equation of your MLR. In multiple linear regression, the target variable, means your dependent variable, is a linear combination of multiple predictor variables x1, x2, x3 and xn. Because in multiple linear regression, you will be going to have multiple independent variable. Since it is an enhancement of simple linear regression, so the same is applied for the multiple linear regression equation and the equation will become this. Okay, so in multiple linear regression, you are going to deal with this equation. Formula is same, but only multiple predicted variables will be added, where y means your output or your predicted value. This b of 0, b of 1, b of 2 are what? Coefficients of the model, and this x1, x2, x3 and x4 are what? These are your various independent or feature variables. Okay, so only a slight modification is done in your simple linear regression, because in MLR you are going to deal with multiple independent variables. So hence your equation will become this. So y is what? This is what you are going to predict. B of O, B of 1, B of 2 is what? The coefficients of the model, and x1, x2, x3, x4 are what? Various independent and feature variables. So now guys, here we are going to practically understand how to implement multiple linear regression using Python. To implement multiple linear regression using Python, we have below problem. Okay, and please try to understand this problem very carefully. So we have a data set of 50 startup companies. Okay, we have a data set of 50 startup companies. These data set contains 5 main information: research and development spend, administration spend, marketing spend, state and profit for a financial year. Our goal is to create a model that can easily determine which company has a maximum profit and which is the most affecting factor for the profit of a company. Okay, so guys, you need to read this problem description again. We have a data set of 50 startup companies. This data set contains 5 main information: R&D spend, administration spend, marketing spend, state and the profit for a financial year. And our goal is to create a model that can easily determine which company has a maximum profit and which is the most affecting factor for the profit of a company. Since we need to find the profit, so it is the dependent variable. In this data set, we are going to make profit as our dependent variable, and the other 4 variables are independent variables. Okay, and below are the main steps of deploying an MLR model. So guys, first of all, you are going to understand the data and then we'll prepare that data. So data pre-processing step will be there. Then you are going to train the data set using MLR model, and then we are going to predict the result of the test set. Okay, so now guys, practically we are going to understand multiple linear regression, and in simple term, if I tell you, in multiple linear regression there will be one or more independent variable, and on the basis of these multiple independent variable you are going to predict the future outcome, or you are going to predict your output. So here I'm going to give you an overview of the data set as well. So in this data set we have 5 columns: R&D spend, administration, marketing spend, state and the profit. Okay, and now based on these 4 columns we are going to predict this. So this 4 will become our independent variable and profit will going to become our dependent variable. Okay, so now guys, here I'm going to upload this dataset on your Trello first, and then I'll share a link with you. So guys, I have uploaded this dataset on your Trello. We will be using this, so just copy the link address. And now guys, here practically we are going to understand the concept of multiple linear regression. In this concept guys, you are also going to learn about one-hot encoding. Very important and interesting topic, one-hot encoding. So first of all guys, here we are going to import the libraries. So first of all we are going to import all the necessary libraries which we will be using in this project. So in this project we are using NumPy. Import NumPy as nm. Then we are going to make a use of this matplotlib as well. Import matplotlib.python plot as matplotlib plot. Okay, and we are also going to make a use of pandas as pd. Okay, so before you write your further code guys, first of all you need to import all these necessary libraries, and then we are going to upload our data set. Okay, and here guys we are going to import our data set, importing data sets. So with the help of this pandas, I'm using this method read_csv, and guys this link I'm going to forward you in chat. Let me paste it over there. And now here we are going to print dataset.head. Okay, so now you can see that our dataset is being loaded over there, and same link I am going to forward you in chat. So you just need to copy this link and paste this link in read_csv method. So guys, this is going to be our dataset in which we are going to understand, or let's say using which we are going to understand the concept of multiple linear regression. So on the basis of R&D spend, on the basis of administration, marketing spend, and on the basis of state, you are going to predict the profit. Okay, so let's say here we are going to keep these as our independent variable, and this is going to be our dependent variable. Okay, so now here we are going to extracting independent and dependent variable. Okay, you are going to extract independent and dependent variable, and here guys I'm going to tell you a shortcut. Okay, so here I'm going to declare this variable x, and here we are going to make a use of this method named as index location. Okay, we are going to make a use of this method index location. In this index location you can specify which index you wanna retrieve. Okay, so this x I'm going to use as my independent variable. Okay, so we are going to keep these 4 columns as my independent variable. So this is going to be on index number 0, index number 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so here what exactly I'm going to do, do not specify any static index, do not specify any end index, and here you can write -1. Okay, dot values. So guys, what we'll do, instead of this -1, remember the negative slicing, this profit is on index number 1. So instead of this -1, rest of your columns will be saved in this variable x. Okay, so now if I show you, if I print the value of my x and if I run this, you can see guys that only administration will be there, R&D spend, administration, marketing spend and your state. This time it will not going to print you the profit. Okay, so using this index location we are going to start from the beginning, we'll go till end, but here I'm instructing to exclude this -1. So profit will be excluded and rest of your variables will be saved in this variable x. Simple. Here you don't need to write the column name, you don't need to do anything, you just need to write this piece of code and it will help you to get the list of your independent variables. Simple syntax guys, starting from starts here, ends here, and exclude this -1. And now using the same ILOC we are going to extract the dependent variable as well. Okay, so here you can see a long information has been printed to us, so I'm just remove this, and now here we are going to extract the dependent variable as well. Okay, so here data underscore set, I'll make a use of this method index location. So I'm not going to specify the start index and neither I'm going to specify the end index. Here I'll just making the use of 4th index. Okay, and on 4th index guys, you all know that we have the profit. So if I print the value of this y, this time in y you will just going to have the profit. See, 19222, so only profit will be there. So guys, this is how you are going to extract your independent and your dependent variable with the help of this method ILOC. So you don't need to print the value of x and y. In x we have our independent variable, and in x you have R&D, administration, marketing spend and state, and on y variable you are saving the information of column profit. Okay, so now guys, here the very important topic related to this multiple linear regression, encoding dummy variables. Now guys, you need to pay your attention a little bit over here and you need to understand this concept very carefully. So guys, in this data set, okay, in this data set as you can see that we have one categorical variable state. which cannot be directly applied to the model, because in linear regression, remember the equation, this equation requires the input in numerical features. Okay, but here you can see that we have this state, and this state is in a categorical variable. We call this state as a categorical variable, which cannot be directly applied to the model, so we will encode it. Okay, so in order to encode the categorical variable into numbers, we will use the label encoder class. Try to understand here, we need to predict the profit on the basis of these independent variable. This is a numerical feature, you don't need to worry about it. Numerical feature, no worry. Numerical feature, no worry. But here you can see that state is what? It's a categorical variable, and this categorical variable you cannot pass to your mathematical equation. So at that point of time, guys, you are going to convert this categorical variable into number, and for this we are going to make a use of label encoder class. Okay, here we are going to use label encoder class. We'll use label encoder class to convert categorical into numerical, or let's say into number. How you can do that, I'll show it to you. So guys, here first of all, you are also going to understand this concept one hot encoder. And this one hot encoder I'm going to explain you with the help of some good example, so that it will be clear in your mind that how this state you are going to convert into the numbers. Okay, so but before that, here from this package sklearn dot preprocessing, from sklearn dot preprocessing, you are going to import label encoder, and here we are also going to import one hot encoder, and one by one I'll explain you what is label encoder and what is one hot encoder. Here we are also going to make a use of this package from sklearn dot compose. You are going to import column transformer, because we need to transform our column. Okay, so we will be using these two modules, label encoder, one hot encoder, and column transformer. And guys, before you write your further code, please run this cell. And now first of all, with the help of an example, I'll show you what do you mean by one hot encoding and what do you mean by label encoding, how this label encoder and this one hot encoder will going to convert categorical into the numbers. So guys, here first of all we are going to understand this label encoder. So basically it is a class which can encode target labels with value between 0 and 1. Okay, and how this label encoder encode the value between 0 and 1, this is what you need to understand. So here I'm going to give you a very simple example. Suppose guys, you are dealing with this data set. Okay, in this data set you have player ID, you have player city, you have player score, and you have this selected. So these two these two are your independent variable. Okay, and based on this data set you need to tell me whether your player got selected or not. So if the player is from Kuala Lumpur and if the player score is above 500, then he is selected. If he's from Selangor, the player score is 432 and he is selected. Pahang, player score is 130 but he is not selected. Kedaha, player score is 300 and he is selected. Okay, so guys, suppose you are going to deal with this dataset, and in this dataset you can see that there are two independent variable and only one single dependent variable. So this you don't need to worry about because it's already in a numerical feature, but this is something you need to worry about because here this categorical information you need to convert into the numbers. So in order to convert this categorical information into numbers, we are using this label encoder and one hot encoder. We are going to make a use of these two, label encoder, and we are also going to make a use of this one hot encoder. So guys, first of all, what this label encoder and what this one hot encoder will do, they will going to create some column names for you, extra column names for you. Player underscore ID, player underscore city. Okay, and here it will going to write Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Pahang, and it will also going to create this column for you, Kedah. Okay, then rest will be the same. Player underscore score will be there, player score will be there, and selected will be there. So first of all, what this label encoder and one hot encoder will do, they are going to create extra columns for you, Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Pahang, Kedah, player score, and selected. Now, how this label encoder and one hot encoder change your information? Player ID will remain 1, no worry. Player city will belong Kuala Lumpur, and here in Kuala Lumpur you will be going to get this 1 value. In Selangor you will be going to get 0, Pahang 0, Kedah 0, player score will be same 560, and now selected status will be there 1. Okay, so now here this is how label encoder and one hot encoder will going to change categorical variable into the numerical feature. So if in this index, if 1 is present in Kuala Lumpur, then ML algorithm will able to understand that this particular player ID belongs to the Kuala Lumpur. So this is how this time you are not going to make a use of this Kuala Lumpur because it is in a categorical, but here you can see that this Kuala Lumpur is being converted into numerical feature. Now ML algorithm knows that if the player ID is 1 and if is having 1 in Kuala Lumpur, then definitely this player is from Kuala Lumpur. Let's get started with the second column. Player ID will be 2. This time player city is Selangor. So Kuala Lumpur will be 0 because this time player does not belongs to the Kuala Lumpur. But in Selangor it will going to get the value of 1. In Pahang it will be 0. In Kedah it will be 0. Rest information will remain same. 432. Okay, and here selected status will be 1. Now let's talk about the third column. In third column, okay, city will be Pahang. Okay, city will be Pahang. Here Kuala Lumpur guys will be 0 because this index number third player is not belong to the Kuala Lumpur, so information will be 0. Selangor will be 0, Pahang will be 1, and Kedah will be 0. Okay, and here player score will be the same 130, and selected status will also be there as 0. Same on index number 4, player city is Kedah. So for Kuala Lumpur it will become 0 because he does not belong to the Kuala Lumpur, neither he belong to the Selangor, neither he belong to the Pahang. But in Kedah this time you will be going to get this value 1, 300, and thus information will be same. So this is how label encoder and one hot encoder will going to convert your categorical variable into a numerical feature. And after this conversion you are going to delete this because we are not going to make a use of this as of now because information is already been converted into numerical feature. Okay, so this time your data set will become this. Okay, so I'll just shift it a little bit here so that it will be very clear to you. Okay, so this is how your data set will be converted into numerical feature using label hot encoder and one hot encoder. Understood guys, that how you are going to change this categorical variable into a numerical feature. So here now machine learning algorithm, how machine learning algorithm identify if the ML algorithm founds 1 over there, then the player belong to the Kuala Lumpur. If ML algorithm founds 1 over there, then player belong to the Selangor. If here the value 1 is present, then the player is from Pahang, and if the value 1 is here, then the player is from the Kedah. So this is how we convert our categorical information into numerical features or into the number. And this particular concept you can achieve by using label encoder and by using one hot encoder. Now suppose guys, in this dataset we have another player 5, and this player will also belong to the Kuala Lumpur. Okay, his score is, let's say, around 20 only, and he's not selected. So this time how this information will be converted into numerical feature first. So here player index is what? It's a 5. In this time Kuala Lumpur will become 1 and rest of your columns will become 0, 0, 0, and score will be, let's say, 20, and selected status will be 0. Rest information will remain the same, but here 1 will be added. By adding this 1, your ML algorithm can now simply learn that this player belongs to the Kuala Lumpur. If the information 1 here, then ML algorithm can identify it very easily that a user belongs to the Kedah. So this is how one hot encoder and label encoder converts categorical variables into numerical features. And now we are going to apply same piece of code in our data set, because in this data set we need to convert this state into a numerical features. So guys, here we are going to write our further code. So first of all, I am going to create an object of this class label encoder. Okay, and this time I'll name that object as label encoder underscore x. Okay, so we have created one object over there, label encoder underscore x, and now with the help of this object we can call the methods of this class label encoder. Okay, so here with the help of this object label encoder underscore x, I'm going to call this method fit underscore transform, which is used to convert your categorical features into the numerical one. Okay, so fit underscore transform, and now guys, here you need to specify which column you want to convert. Okay, here in this fit underscore transform you need to specify which column need to be converted from categorical to the numerical feature. So from my x means from my independent variable, I am going to pass 3 only, because on index number 3rd, if I show you, index number 0, index number 1, index number 2, and index number 3rd. Okay, so that's the reason why I am passing index number 3rd over there. So it will going to transform only your state. Okay, so 3rd means your state. Here you are passing the index number of your column, and what is the index number of this column? 3, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that's the reason from your independent variable you are just passing 3. Okay, and now guys, just save this piece of information over there, because we need to update this. So I'll write the same piece of code, column 3. So here I'm not going to create a new column, I'm just going to update this column. So once this fit underscore transform will convert categorical into number, we are going to save this information over there. Okay, and now guys, here we are going to transform this information, and for that you are using this class column transformer. So you need to create an object for it. So the object name will be transformer, object name will be transformer, and here you will be using this class transformer. And now guys, in this column transformer, certain parameters you need to pass. You need to pass first of all transformers. Okay, first of all this is going to be your main parameter, transformers, and in this transformer you are going to pass a list of tuples. Okay, this is going to be your very first parameter, transformers, and in this transformers you are going to pass list of tuples. How? I'll show it to you. So here, okay, here guys, I'm going to write this piece of code in my parenthesis, so please pay your attention over there. So here, first of all, I'm going to make a use of this transformer. It's a default parameter, you cannot change it, transformers. Okay, and here remember we need to pass list of tuple. So list is denoted by using square brackets. Okay, and here in this list we need to pass, okay, in this list we need to pass some tuples. So this is going to be a very first tuple, one hot. This is going to be your very first tuple, one hot, and it's just a name. You don't need to pay attention over there. It is what? it is just a name. So here I'll write this in comment. It is just your transformation name. It is just a name. Okay, so here I'll show it to you. So here you just need to pass a name for your transformation. Okay, so let's say here I'm going to pass the name of my transformation as one hot. Any name you can write, you can even write your name as well. Okay, so it's just a name. It will help to it will going to provide help to your column transformer that this is going to be just a name. Okay, now guys, the second parameter which you will be passed over there, the class. Okay, here you need to pass your transformer class over there. Okay, so here we are using this class one hot encoder. So these parameters you need to understand one by one. First of all, you are going to pass a name to your transformation. So I'm just going to give it a name as one hot, and then here you need to specify the transformer class. So we are using one hot encoder as our class. The transformer class you are going to write. The transformer class name you need to specify over there. And now guys, finally you are going to specify which column. Okay, here you are, what do you mean by 3? In 3 you need to specify the column in which you want to apply this transformation, the columns to be applied on. Simple guys. So I'll repeat myself again. So now guys, here we are going to transform this column. Yes, we need to transform because right now our column has some categorical values which we need to convert into the numerical. So for this we are using this column transformer. In this transformer you need to pass some list of tuple. First of all, you are going to pass a name to your transformation. You can give it any name. Then which class you are using. We are using this one hot encoder, and to which column you are going to apply this transformation. So I am going to apply the transformation on column number 3. Okay, and then guys, here after this list you are going to pass another parameter, and the name of that parameter is remainder. Okay, the name of this parameter is remainder, and in this remainder you are going to write this default value pass through. Okay, now what do you mean by this remainder pass through? It says that do not apply anything to the remaining columns, which means that this transformation will be applied only on index number 3. Simple guys. So what do you mean by this pass through? Pass through says that do not apply anything to the remaining column. Very simple. Now guys, I'll explain you this code again. So first of all, we all know that we have a column named as state, which comprises of categorical value. So these categorical values, first we need to convert into the numerical feature. For that we are using this label encoder, and then we are going to transform this column. In this column you are going to make a use of this parameter transformers, in which you need to pass list of tuple. So first of all, you are going to give a name to your transformation, then which class you will be using, on which column you are going to apply this transformation, and then after this list of tuples you are going to specify the remainder, and in remainder you are going to pass this pass through, which means that do not apply anything to the remaining column. So the transformation will be done only on your index number 3. Okay, and now guys, finally we are going to apply transformer. Okay, we are going to make a use of this object transformer dot fit underscore transform. Now automatically this piece of code will going to convert your information into 0 and 1, and how the information will be converted in 0 and 1, same like this guys. Okay, same like this. So now here we are going to apply this methodology using this method fit underscore transform. Okay, so here I'll apply this transformation on my X, and then I'll convert them into a list. It will going to convert your X into a list, and here you can see the final output as well. I'll just change because sometimes it convert the information in float, so I don't want my information to be appear in float, I just want it to be in integer. So first of all, you are transforming your x, means you are transforming your independent variables, and then you are going to change the type of your independent variable as integer. Okay, and here if I print, okay, first of all let me just run this cell. Okay, so this cell will be executed, and now guys here I'm going to print you, and I'll show you the value of your x. Okay, so please have a look onto my screen first. Okay, so now guys you can see that in this x you will be going to have 0 0 1 something something something. Okay, and now you need to compare this information with the original data set. I'll show it to you. So here I'll open my data set. Please pay your attention guys. So guys, here you can see 16534 is there. So now you can see 16534 is there. This is going to be your R&D spend, this is going to be your administration spend, and this is going to be your marketing spend. And now here you can see that what do you mean by 001. So guys, here you can see that in this data set we have this New York. Okay, so basically if I tell you in this we have New York, California and Florida. Okay, only 3 state names are there. You can have a look over there. Only 3 state names are there: New York, Florida, California. New York, Florida, California. Okay, so this first column says that one is for your New York, this one is for your New York, this one is for your, let's say, Florida, California. Okay, and this one is for your Florida. Now guys, here you can see that New York. Okay, so I'll show it to you. So basically this is for your, I'll write it down somewhere in order to give you better understanding. 0, 0, 1, okay, I'll write this piece of code so that it will going to give you a very clear picture of what exactly you have it. Okay, I'll just remove this. I'll put some spaces over there. Okay, and now guys here, so guys, this is going to be, so guys, this is going to be for your California. Okay, okay, the second column is for your Florida, this third column is for your New York, and guys, but rest columns are the same. Okay, this is for your administration, R&D. I'll write it for you, R&D. This is for your marketing. Okay, and the final value is for your, okay, the final value is for your, okay, this one is for admin. Okay, this is an administration, and this is for your marketing. Okay, and now guys, you need to observe this output very carefully. So now guys, here you can see that one stands for the New York. So this is your California, this is your Florida, and this is your New York. Okay, I need to write this column name above so that it won't confuse you. Instead of writing like this, I need to write like this. Okay, so we have this California. I'll remove this as well. So guys, this time your piece of information will be converted like this. So we have converted our columns into the 0 and 1. So this is how now your information will be displayed to you. Okay, so now have a look over there. So on your first record, you can see that on first record 1 is there, 1 is at your New York. Okay, so the very first information, it's saying that New York is 1. Okay, no problem. Now let's proceed toward the second one. In second one, okay, you need to have a look onto my screen. On second, it is what? It is California. It is what? It's a California. So here in second column, 1 will be specified in California, and in Florida it is 0, and for New York it is 0. Remember this example guys? For Kuala Lumpur it will be 1, and for rest it will be 0. Same. Okay, for second record, which is California, so California will be 1, Florida will be 0, New York will be 0. Okay, now let's have a look on to the third. In third we have 0 1 0. Okay, so let me just check. So Florida. Okay, so that's the reason guys, for Florida it is 1, for California it is 0, and for New York it is 0. Now guys, here have a look again. This is our 0 1 2 3 fourth record. So in fourth record again we have New York. Okay, so that's the reason in New York it is saying 1, in Florida it is saying 0, and in California it is saying 0. Okay, so this is how one hot encoding actually changes your information in 0 and 1, and this is how guys you can perform the transformation. Okay, so here you can see that the state column has been converted into a dummy variable of 0 and 1. Here each dummy variable column is corresponding to one state. We can check it comparing, or let's say we can check by comparing it with the original data set. The first column represent to the California, second column represent to the Florida, and the third column represent to the New York. Okay, and now guys, here one by one you can check with the original data set. Okay, so in original data set this is New York. So where you will be going to get the 1, on New York you will going to get the 1. Now in second record you can see 1 is at California. Why so? Because the second record is from California, and in third record you will be going to get Florida as 1. Okay, so I hope it clear to you that how you are going to perform this dummy variable. Okay, and how you are going to change categorical values into the numbers. So guys, we are done with our one hot encoding and label encoder. So you need to compare these values with the actual data set in order to get the clear idea of how one hot encoding actually works. So here you can see that on index number or on row number 0 you have 1 at New York. So that means the first record is belong to the New York state. In second you can see that we are getting 1 at California, which says that in second record you are going to deal with California. In third you can see that we are going to get 1 at Florida, so it means that this records belongs to the state Florida. Okay, so this is how you can perform one hot encoding, and this one hot encoding actually converts your categorical information into a numerical feature. So now guys, here after this conversion, what exactly we are going to do, here we are going to split. This is also a new concept for you. Here we are going to split the data set. We can split the data set into training and test set. This is what we are going to do. Here you are going to split your data set into the training one and into the testing set. Training part you will be using for your model training, and once your model gets trained, it will definitely going to give you some prediction. Those predictions we are going to compare with our testing data set. So here what exactly we are going to do, we are going to split our data set into the training and into the testing data set. This plays a very important role, especially when you are going to deal with around 1 lakh of records. You are dealing with the data set, and that data set comprises of more than 1 lakh records. At that point of time, you are not going to train the entire data. Okay, you are going to split the data set into the training and into the testing set. Training you will be using for your model training, and this testing set you will be using for evaluation or for checking your model performance or your model accuracy. So guys, once we have our data set ready, the next important task is to split our data set into training set and the test set. We do this in order to train our model with one portion of the data called the training set, and test the prediction result on another set of data called the test set. So guys, training data set you will be using in order to train your data, and later on we are going to make a use of this testing data set for our predictions. And in order to split our data set into the training and into the testing set, we are going to make a use of a function named as train test split. Okay, So guys, from this particular package, from sklearn dot model, okay, from sklearn dot model underscore selection, you are going to import train, then we'll test, and here split. So guys, you will be using this method train test split to divide your dataset into the training part and into the testing part. Okay, so guys, one by one you need to understand the parameters of it. So first of all, you will be using this method train underscore test underscore split. Here you need to pass your dependent variable and your independent variable. So x is our independent variable and y is our dependent variable. Okay, so first of all guys, in this method train test split, you are going to pass your dependent and independent variable. Okay, then here you are going to make a use of this test underscore size. Okay, and here I am going to pass 0.2. So now guys, what do you mean by this parameter test underscore size? Okay, basically in test underscore size, we are indicating that 20% of the data is the test set. Okay, so test size is a parameter which help your ML algorithm to understand how much of data you will be using for training and how much of data you will be using for testing. Okay, so here test size 0.2 means that 20% of the data, 20% of the data is testing dataset, and rest 80% of the data is training set, is a training dataset. Okay, so 20% of the data guys you will be using for testing purpose, and 80% of the data you are going to use for the training. Okay, so basically here what exactly going to be happen. So if I show you the shape of the data set, okay, I need to insert a cell over there. Okay, if I show you the shape of the data set, data underscore set dot shape. Okay, so guys, you can see that we have 50 number of records and 5 columns. Now what this test set 0.2 will do, 10 startup data will be choosing as a testing set and 40 remaining will be chosen for the training set. Okay, so what means that 20% of the data will be training one and for will be testing one, and the 80% of the data is a training data set. Okay, so guys, in this, from this data set 50, 10 columns you will be using as testing data set, 40 remaining columns you will be using, or let's say 40 remaining records you will be using for your training set. Okay, and here you are going to make a use of this as well, random underscore state is equal to 0, so that when you are splitting the data, splitting will be done on random basis. Okay, so it won't happen that first 40 record will be used for training and rest 20 will be used for testing. No, here splitting now will be done on random basis. So random underscore state will be 0. Now guys, once you apply this method will going to return you 4 values. Okay, this method will going to return you 4 value. First value will be your independent variable training set and your independent variable testing set. Same, your dependent variable training set and your dependent variable testing set. So basically this particular method will going to return you 4 values: xtrain, xtest means your independent variable training, independent variable testing, dependent variable training and your dependent variable testing. Okay, and now guys, you just need to run the cell and your data will be splitted. Okay, so guys, here approach is very simple. Here why we are dividing our data set into the training and into the testing set, so that our model can be trained using this training data set, and later on we can make predictions on the basis of this testing data set. So after a model has been processed by using the training set, you can test the model by making prediction against the test set. Okay, so that's the reason why you are going to split the data set into the training and into the testing set. And splitting is very easy, guys. All you just need to do is you just need to make a use of this method, pass your dependent and independent variable over there, specify the test size. Okay, if you are going to write 0.3, that means 30% of the data will be used for testing and the rest 70% of the data will be used for the training. If you are going to write 0.4, 40% of the data will be used for the testing and rest 60% of the data will be used for training. And here we are going to split our data on some random basis. Okay, so now guys, after the splitting of our data set into the training and into the testing one, here we are now going to fit the model. Okay, fitting the model means here now we are going to apply multiple linear regression on your data set. Okay, so now guys, here we are going to fit the multiple linear regression to the training set. This time we are not going to train the entire data set. We are going to apply this MLR only to the training data set. Okay, so guys, from sklearn dot linear underscore model, we are going to import linear regression, because multiple linear regression is just an advancement of your linear regression. Okay, so we will be using this linear regression. Okay, here I am going to create an object first, let's say regressor. Okay guys, and here we are going to make a use of this class linear regression. And why we are going to create an object of this linear regression class? So that you can call methods such as fit, predict. Okay, so guys, first of all, with the help of this regressor, first of all we are going to train our data set. Okay, so I'll make a use of this method dot fit, and here I'm going to pass x underscore train. As we all know that we are not going to pass the entire data set, we'll pass x underscore train and we'll pass y underscore train. Okay, so instead of passing x and y, you're going to pass your training data set. Okay, and now guys, you need to run the cell so that linear regression algorithm will be applied over there. And now guys, here after our model training, we are going to predict the test set result. Okay, after this, here we are going to predict the test set result, which means you are now going to predict the values, predicting the test set result. Okay, so guys, here I'm going to create a new variable y underscore predict. Okay, and here I'm going to print those values which is being predicted by my machine, y underscore predict. And here with the help of this object, we are going to call this method predict. Okay, and this time I'm going to make prediction on the basis of my test data set. Okay, here we are not going to pass your entire independent variable. Here we are going to make predictions on the basis of my testing data set. Remember, testing data set we will be using for our prediction and for our model performance. Okay, so now guys, here let's run this cell. Okay, first of all I'm going to print here original values y underscore test. In y we have our dependent variable. Okay, so first of all let's print the actual values. So these are going to be our actual values. Okay, and now let's here print our predicted values. So y underscore predicted. So these are going to be our predicted values. Okay, so for first it is going to predict this profit, for second it is going to predict this profit, for third it will going to predict this, and so on. So guys, you can see that this value is a little bit close to this value. So these are the predicted values given to you by your model. Okay, and now here you can take user input and then you can predict it, but here before that I'll check the accuracy first. Okay, so first of all guys, write this piece of code. So this is what, this is going to be your predicted values, and these are what, these are our actual values. Okay, so write this piece of code. So guys, now we are done making some predictions, and now let's check the model performance. Okay, how accurate your model is. So here from sklearn, now here we are going to evaluate model performance. Okay, and here I'm going to make a use of this from sklearn dot matrix. We will be using this R2 score, import R2 score. Okay, and here I'll create one variable, accuracy is equal to R2 score, and guys here I'm going to pass my testing dataset. Okay, I'm going to pass my testing dataset. In this y_test we have our original values. Okay, and now let's compare these original value with our predicted value. So regressor dot predict, and guys here you are going to write x_test, because in x_test you have your independent variables. So on the basis of this independent variables, it will going to make some predictions. Those predictions will be evaluated against the original one, and final accuracy rate will be given to you. Okay, so here I'll write print accuracy. Okay, and here I'll write this accuracy, and now guys if we run this cell, you can see that your model is 93% accurate while making predictions. It's a good accuracy rate, so now we can deploy this model. Okay, so guys, this is how you are going to deal with multiple linear regression. In multiple linear regression, you will be going to have multiple independent variable, and based on those multiple independent variable you are going to make some predictions. Okay, and here the most important topic which we discussed is splitting the dataset into the training and into the testing dataset. This you will be using especially when you are going to deal with some very large dataset. So you are not going to train your entire dataset, you will be using training dataset for the training, and this training dataset, once the model will be prepared, you are going to evaluate your model with the help of this testing dataset. And also here we discussed about the very important concept of one-hot encoding. Okay, because you cannot pass this piece of information directly to your regression equation. Okay, at that point of time this categorical need to be converted into the numerical feature, and this is how you can convert categorical into the number using one-hot encoder and using this column transformer. Okay, so guys, we are now done with our multiple linear regression. So guys, now in this multiple linear regression we are going to take some user input and will make predictions based on those user input. So let's say I have started my new company and I want to check how much profit I'm going to make in future. So here we are going to pass certain user input, and based on those user input we are going to predict the profit. Okay, so guys, here we are going to take user input and here we are going to predict profit. So guys, here we have already trained our model, and now on the basis of that model we'll make some prediction. So guys, first of all we are going to take certain user input. So here I'm going to declare one variable California. Okay, and here I'm going to take a user input. So I'll make a use of this integer and I'll make a use of this message, are you from California. Okay, here I'm going to write a message for my user, are you from California? Enter 1 if yes, else 0. So this is what we are going to take from our user, are you from California? So user can either going to write enter 1 or else it will going to write 0, because we can not take categorical values from user. Here we need to take numerical feature, so that's the reason I'm converting this information into an integer. So whatever user will be passed 1 or 0, that will be passed in string first, and then here we are going to typecast into an integer. Same piece of code guys, you need to copy and you can paste it over there. Same piece of code we are going to write for our Florida and for our New York. So here I'm going to declare a new variable, Florida. Are you from Florida? Enter 1 if yes, else 0. And same piece of information guys, I'm going to write for New York. Are you from New York? Enter 1 if yes, else 0. So we'll take some user inputs, and based on these user input we'll predict what will be your profit in future. Now guys, in this data set, after taking the state detail, we need to take R&D expenditure from that user, administration expenses from that user, and marketing spend. And based on these inputs we need to predict their profit. Okay, so right now here I'm going to declare one more variable, r_d, and here we'll make a use of an integer and we'll make a use of this input. Here I'm going to ask my user enter R&D spent, means how much you are spending on your research and development. Now you can copy the same piece of code, paste it over there. Then we'll ask administration expenses from that user, enter administration spend. And finally you're going to ask marketing spend, how much that user is spending in marketing. Okay, and I'm going to create one variable over there, it's a market. So guys, once you have these inputs, now you need to predict the profit, because I'm a new user, I have started my new organization and I want to know how much profit I'm going to generate. So you'll ask these parameters from me, and now your machine will going to predict future, or let's say now your machine will going to predict profit for me. Guys, first of all, what exactly we need to do is we need to map these values, and then we need to convert these values in a pandas data frame so that our machine learning model can make certain predictions. Okay, so first of all, here what exactly we need to do is we need to map these values, and here we are going to map these values using dictionary. So here I'm going to create this key California. In this key guys, okay, in this key I'm going to pass the first value of my user, so I'll just copy this. Okay, in this key you are going to pass this value. Now here I'm going to create another key, Florida. In this key I'm going to pass this value. Why we are mapping these values? Because guys, this information you need to convert into a data frame. Okay, and a dictionary can be converted into a data frame very easily. So California information will be passed in this key, Florida information will be passed in this key. Same, I'll make a use of a new key, New York, and in this key I'm going to pass this value. Okay, same, I'm going to create another key, r_d, that will be my key. Now in this key I'm going to pass this value. Then I'm going to make a use of another key, admin. In this key we are going to pass administration spend information, and now finally we will be using this key market, and now here we are going to map this market value. So first of all, what exactly we are going to do, whatever input we are taking from our user, we are mapping those inputs with these keys, California, Florida, New York, R&D, admin, and market, so that you can convert this information into a data frame. Okay, and after you convert this information in a data frame, then your model can make some predictions. Okay, so now guys, here I'm going to convert this information in my data frame. Okay, or let's call this data frame as user underscore input. Okay, and now mapping this dictionary into a data frame is very easy. All you just need to do is you just need to make a use of a pandas dot data frame. Make a use of this pandas dot data frame, pass data to it. Okay, so guys, this dictionary data we are passing over there, and now here you need to specify the column names. Okay, you need to specify the column names. So the columns names will be, okay guys, and here you just need to pass the same key. Okay, you just need to pass the same key, California, passed it over there. Then this is going to be your second key, Florida. You need to pass the keys very carefully guys, because here columns names will be same just like your key names. Okay, so this is going to my third column name. Then we have this R&D, so I'll just copy this code from here. Then this is going to be my another column name, admin, and now this is going to be my another column name, market. So guys, by doing this, so you are going to convert your dictionary into a data frame, and now once you got this data, your model can predict that what will be your profit. Okay, so here one more parameter guys we need to pass in over there, index. Okay, one more parameter I'm going to pass in over there, index 0. So guys, I'll show you. I'll print this user underscore input. So first of all, let's check this piece of code, whether this piece of code is working or not. So first of all, it will start asking from you, are you from California? Enter 1 if yes. So let's say I'm entering 1. I'm not from Florida, I'm writing 0. I'm writing 0. Enter R&D spend. Let's say I'll write 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Some random values I'm just going to pass as of now, 8 9 7 6. Okay, and now guys, you can see that your index has been ready. Okay, means your Python pandas data frame is ready. In California we have 1, in Florida 0 0, R&D this, admin is this, market expenditure is this. And now guys, based on this user input, your model will going to make some predictions. Okay, so we are taking user input, we are converting them into a data frame, and this piece of information will be stored on an index number 0. So now we are not going to print this user input. Okay, I'll stop the execution of it. And now guys, once we got this user input, now we are going to make predictions. Okay, we are now going to make some predictions. So here I'm going to create one variable, predict underscore profit. Okay, and now with the help of our object regressor, I'm going to predict. Okay, and I am going to predict on the basis of user input. Okay, here you are going to make prediction but on the basis of user input. So regressor dot predict, and here you are going to predict on the basis of user input. Okay, and finally you can make a use of this print function, and here you can write /n predicted profit of startup is, okay, and you can predict this profit, predict underscore profit. Okay, so guys, this is how you are going to make predictions on the basis of user input. First of all, you'll take user input, you'll map them into a dictionary, you'll convert them into a columns or in a data frame, and then on the basis of this we are going to make some predictions. Okay, and finally it will going to predict profit of startup is predict underscore profit. Okay, and here we are going to predict profit of index number 0. As you can see that here we have written index 0, so predict profit index number 0. Okay, so here this predict profit, if you are just going to write this predict profit, it will going to give it two information, something on index number 0 and something on index number 1. So here we are just interested in fetching the information on index number 0. I don't want any kind of an index number. I just want my profit. So that's the reason I'm passing predict profit shape 0. So now guys, we are going to run this cell. Okay, and one by one here we are going to pass some user inputs. Okay, we will be passing some user input over there. So are you from California? Okay, so let's say I'm typing yes, I'm from California. Are you from Florida? No, I'm not. Are you from New York? No, I'm not. Okay, now here I am going to enter my research and development expenditure. So here I am going to write 162,597. Okay, 162,597. Then here it will ask enter administration spend. So let's say here I am writing 151,377. Okay, and now it's asking me marketing spend. So here I am going to write 443,898. Okay, 443898. And now when you run this cell, so this is going to be the predict profit of your startup. So it will going to predict the profit for your startup, and it says that your profit will be 189,547. So now guys, this is actually the same piece of information which we have in our actual data set. I'll show you. So here R&D spend, administration spend and marketing spend, these values I have taken from my original data set from here, 162,151,4438 California. And now you can see that the actual profit is 191 and your machine is predicting it something 189 something, which is very closer to this value. Okay, so let's say I am a new, let's say I have my new startup, and these are my expenditure, and these are my administration spend, these are my marketing spend, and now your model can predict this profit, and this profit is 93% accurate. Okay, so guys, this completes our multiple linear regression.
Hey guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. Do subscribe to our channel for more informational content.